Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to continue building the Discord bot, and today we are going to add some features to the bot so it becomes something useful. And I want to make a poll bot so people can start a vote and vote just within Discord. So what I'm going to do is using an open source library that I found on GitHub. So it's an open source project from Stay in Quote, and the name is Pollbot. I had a look. I think it's a fairly simple Python Discord bot, and we can see if we can put this together with what we already showed in the last two videos and use the technique and deploy it on App Engine. So let's get started. So first of all, of course, I'm going to clone this repository. I'm just going to go to my terminal and I use git clone. And here I already have the source code on my local machine. So I'm going to VS Code and open this Pollbot repository. Let's just take a look of what this repository has. So it has a bot.py where it created a Pollbot class. And there's also another file called launcher.py where it imported this Pollbot class from this bot.py and of course created an object from this class and start the bot run. Also, let's see how it manages the Discord token. So it manages the Discord token from the Discord token config, and I just noticed that when you create this Pollbot, you pass a config object which is loaded from a Python file. So I guess it will be the config.json file here. Yes, as I suspected, that this is where we should put our Discord token. But as we already showed in our last video, we don't really, under any circumstances, we don't really want to put our Discord token directly in the code. So what I will do is actually probably go back to our repository last time, the repository that we used last time. So I should be able to find it here. So I'll probably copy this code, this part of the code related to the secret manager. And I'm going to put it, because this is a quick demo, I'm just going to simply put it in launcher.py. And because in this repository they haven't installed the Google Cloud Secret Manager, so I have to open the terminal and I will need to install this Google Cloud Secret Manager. So I noticed that this project does not come with requirements.txt, so either way I will need to create a virtual environment. Can't even type now. Then I will switch into this environment. and I will also set my VS Code Python interpreter to the path of my virtual environment Python interpreter file. So I've already switched the interpreter. And the next thing I want to do is to install discord.py. It has been a long day for me, as well as the Google Cloud Secret Manager later. So now I'm going to install Google Cloud. So apparently it's not called this name. I will just take a look at my the requirements.txt file we used last time. So it's called, okay, so there is a hyphen between secret and manager. So just going to pip install again. Actually, while it's installing, I will just copy these 2 lines and create the requirements.txt here. Okay, so we have all the dependencies we need installed. And since I haven't changed my project, I haven't changed my secret ID, I did change my secret version. So I think we can simply pass this Discord bot token. We can do like a quite let's just do a dirty trick, just to overwrite this Discord bot Discord token. With the Discord bot token we have here, so it's the token is loaded from the secret manager of Google Cloud. So then I can try to run this. Actually, already tried to run this launcher on my local machine. Here, so I need to mention a little bit that here, this is a fairly advanced Discord bot example. So it used something called auto-sharded bot. So this is actually the first time I come across this concept, but based on how it sounds, it should be something like, basically you have multiple bot workers running in parallel instead of one huge bot taking care of everything. So I don't know like how many shards I need, and also I don't know what the first shard ID and last shard ID is. Let me just try to run it without this parameter and see if it gives any errors. It seems like, let me get to my Discord as well. So it does give me an error, but this error is it's related to my secret manager, and as last time we need to put the service account credential file in. We need to reference it somehow. So I will just create a folder called credentials, and then I can go to my command line and I can copy this file, Discord bot on App Engine credentials, and there's only one file. I'll copy it into Polbot credentials. So we should be able to see the credential file here already. So this time I also need to set the environment variable. And then I run it again. So it has logged in, so I don't know if this number of shards and the shard ID can be ignored. So let me find my Discord, where my Discord is. So here it is. So what it says on the Git page, so we should be able to, if we go back to that project, so it says we should be able to type plus poll and something something, and the poll bot will automatically add the reactions, either sum up or sum down or whatever. So we're going to try this. So it seems like it does exactly as it says. So it added 3 emojis reactions at the bottom of this message. And so if I want to post a poll on my Discord server, other members on the Discord server will be able to react to the poll. So it's effectively a very simple polling method. And we can also take a look at this method. So we type poll and poll, colon and title and option 1, option 2. I'm not sure what exactly this format is. Let's try poll. We can take a look at I think it's in the poll.py. So it does look for like the curly brackets and the square brackets. So we need to probably type the message with the curly brackets and square brackets as well. So I will just copy this for now. It doesn't look like it's doing anything. I don't know if it's because I didn't use the number of shards, but it did not work. And let's try the straw poll as well. Straw poll. Let's copy this exact same command, straw poll something something. So it does create a straw poll a simple web-based polling page for me. So I will be, so because here the title, where the title is, I simply where the title should be, I simply type the title, and where the option 1, option 2, and option 3 should be, I simply just typed option 1, 2, 3. So that's why the bot actually created exactly the same poll as I should expect. So this part is working. So the only thing does not work for now is this type of poll. So I guess we need to take a look into the code, how it is. So here is looking for prefixes, plus sign, poll, poll colon, and capital poll colon, and all caps column. So this one I do use just the po and the column, so I'm not sure why this does not work. So maybe we will be able to debug here. So we'll have to read this code a little bit, unfortunately. So here, as I mentioned before, this PoleBot class extends a class that is defined in a Discord.py library called AutoShardedBot, and this is the constructor of this PoleBot class, and the PoleBot class also called the constructor of the AutoShardedBot, and created these prefixes. I'm not familiar with the Discord game class here, so I'm not sure what this means. Okay, so it turns out in the config file. Okay, so in the config file, there's a default shard count and the first shard ID and last shard ID. So this explains that why we didn't have to pass the number of shards and the shard ID here. So since we are fine with running just the one shard at the moment, so we don't need to worry about it yet. So we can skip all the parts about sharding. So here, what is interesting is it used the load extension method of this class, but this method is not really defined within this class, but it's probably inherited from the AutoShardedBot class. So and they passed the extension. So pass is effectively it created, I guess, maybe 4 different extensions, loaded 4 different extensions, and the extensions are defined here. So those are the 4 different extensions, and I guess they are corresponding to the py files in the Quarks directory. So I think what is problematic is probably the pole.py, so I'm going to take a look at pole.py. And here again, they defined a pole class, which extended from the Quark class from the Discord extension. And there is a setup function. I think it's where when I'm not 100% sure, but my guess is it's when those extensions, sorry, let me just find it. Yeah, when the extensions are loaded, it will run this. It will call this setup function to add the cog in this case, and each cog in this case would be an object from the pole class. So the pole object is where the messages are actually processed. So the command is called pole. And here, if the content does not start with plus poll or this, basically we have to start a message from plus poll or poll colon, which we did use poll colon. So if we type this again, we can see it more clearly. We did start with poll colon, and I think this is it's trying to compose a message that is to be sent back later to the user. So it's looking for the position of the left curly bracket, and so what it says, if it doesn't find the curly bracket, then that's where we have seen the simple poll, how the simple poll works. So if in this case, it means it's actually using the same, let's say the same cog, the same part of the bot to process the polling definition message. So we can probably try to, instead of using poll colon, since this one works, we can use plus poll. See, this does work. So maybe there's something to something not exactly right with the documentation. So if I copy exactly the command from the documentation, it didn't work. But now if I use plus poll, sorry, just copy this again, plus poll and curly bracket, title, and option 1, option 2, option 3 does work. So let's do actual poll to make it the feature a little bit, to try the feature a little bit more. Let's say, do you like this plugin? Yes. No. And the last one just write so. So it does create this this poll for me, and actually I think that's exactly what I would expect from a very simple poll bot. So I'm just going to go ahead and deploy this bot on App Engine like we did last time. So we already have the secret manager here. All I need to do is actually go back to my repository. So go back to my Discord bot demo repository. And all I need to do is to find this app.yaml. And I will just copy the content of this app.yaml file. And I will put it here in the same directory of the launcher.py. And I create a new file called app.yaml, and I copy and paste the content here. So the runtime is Python 3.8, that is fine, and the instant class, we still use the same instant class as you were used before, that is a smallest backend instance class. And we use manual scaling, and we just want one instance at any point of time. And the only change we need to make here is the entry point, because as you seen just now, the entry point for this bot is launcher.py instead of main.py. So I will just replace main.py with launcher.py, and with that I think it should work. Actually we need to add one more thing. Since if we go to App Engine, since we already have a default service here, and for now we don't want to override this default service, so I want to give it another service name. For example, I just call it service, and let's just call it Pobot. So we just basically just name this service so it will not override the default service we already had here. So with that, we should be able to just use the gcloud command to deploy. So before deploying, I always want to double check that I'm in the correct project. So I use gcloud config, I think it's list. And so I'm in this Discord bot demo project. So this looks fine. So I will just use gcloud app deploy. Let's see what happens. So this is a YAML file it finds, and the source is this directory itself, and the target project is this one, and target service is this one. So I think it looks fine for me. So I will just press Y to continue. And just to take this one step further, there are, so as it says here, it's uploading 51 files. So I'm guessing it's actually uploading quite a few files from different directory here. So I'm not sure exactly which 51 file it's uploading, but because we definitely don't want to upload our credentials, and we probably don't want to upload this .bs code directory because it's our dev file, and we don't need this PyCache either. So I'll probably just add some files or directories that to be ignored. So for example here, I want to ignore this PyCache directory, and then I want to ignore this door credentials directory, and I want to ignore this VS Code directory. I also want to ignore vinv directory. Maybe some of the files or directory here are not necessary. I don't necessarily have to ignore it explicitly here, but since it's not too much a trouble to do that, I will just add all the ignore all the directories explicitly here. So now this service has been successfully deployed. Let's go back to the App Engine page and let me refresh it. So as you can see here, this Pobot service has already been deployed, and now I'm not running this bot on my computer locally. If I go to this Discord, my Discord, you should be able to see the bot is online, so that is a good sign. And I will just copy this last, and let's actually copy the first one that we used, just to differentiate it a little bit. And this should work. Yeah, now the response is actually coming from App Engine instead of my local machine. And yeah, this is basically essentially how we can run our own Pobot on App Engine, and hopefully this is simple enough. And I will share all the links in the description of the video. Hope you like this tutorial. Bye.